hordes of people were coming inbound to me saying, your voice is incredible. It sounds so real. I didn't even know it was not human. And then they would go and use this and like prank call their parents. Students would use it to like prank call their school, like their teachers. People would prank call their friends. But the thing we learned from that experience was people think this is amazing. They've never experienced voice AI before, and it's mind-blowing how good it is. And so they came inbound asking us, hey, I love your voice AI thing. Can I use it for my business?
Most founders don't think twice about the address they list when they incorporate, until they realize it's actually their home address that's showing up on public records. Stable fixes that. It gives you a real business address you can use everywhere: incorporation, IRS, banks, vendors. It keeps your personal information private and helps your business look professional from day one. Every piece of mail that comes into that address, Stable digitizes with an AI summary that tells you exactly what each item is and what needs your attention, all from one secure dashboard. So from your first piece of mail to fully automated workflows, Stable grows with your business. To sign up for Virtual Address, head over to usestable.com/pod, P-O-D, to get 50% off on your first 3 months. That's usestable.com/pod, P-O-D. Thank you, Stable, for sponsoring today's episode. Now back to the show. Welcome back to the Lobster Talks, where I bring you the best YC founders. Today, I have a treat for you all. I'm with Kat from Simple AI. Kat spent years at YC. She worked there building Startup School and tools that thousands of YC founders actually use daily. But today, she's on the other side. She left YC and is building phone AI agents for large enterprises with her new business, Simple AI. So I'm very excited to have this conversation. We're going to go back to the YC roots and origin, and of course, what she's building now. Kat, welcome to the show.
Thanks so much for having me. I'm really excited.
I am too. Let's just dive in. So let's start with Simple AI and yourself. Tell us who you are and what Simple AI does.
Of course. We're building Simple AI. We build phone agents for large enterprises. What that means is we have very natural sounding voice AI that automates phone calls for these big businesses.
That's awesome. It's a big market. And so, like I mentioned, you worked at YC previously. And so that's really cool. Hopefully you get to take us a little bit behind the curtains. Let's start at the beginning. What prompted you from leaving YC? And I'm asking this question with a sort of an angle in mind. Maybe that's not the right one, which is voice AI is such a huge, a huge topic. It has so much potential. Did you see this through other YC startups? And is this why you chose to leave, or tell us the story?
That's a great question. So a little bit of background. I spent 4 years running software, product, and engineering for a team at YC.
Wow.
At the time, we had 3 software teams, and my team was responsible for getting young, smart individuals interested in startups and choosing to do that instead of going to like a Google or Facebook or something like that.
So that's Startup School, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that includes Startup School, which is a free online program for young founders. It includes a co-founder matching site. I built that from scratch.
Wow.
It's basically like a dating site for co-founders. Yeah. So if you want to do a startup, but you don't have a friend who also wants to do that, you can use co-founder matching to find someone who's also very excited about startups.
Let me stop you there because this is so cool. So we have a lot of people watching this because they want to hear from YC founders. And so many of them want to build a startup, want to apply to YC. And sort of always the questions that I get is, oh, I don't have the right co-founder, or, oh, I don't really know how to build a business. So
exactly,
we have here the person responsible for all the tools helping you. If you don't know how to build a business, you can do Startup School. So it's startupschool.org, if I'm not mistaken.
Startupschool.org.
Right? It's free. You get all the content that you built.
Exactly.
So cool.
YC has this incredible thesis that the only things a team needs to build a successful startup are the team, so your co-founders, and an idea. And Startup School is meant to help you find both. So co-founder matching site is how you find a co-founder, and Startup School teaches you a lot of basic lessons about how to evaluate, does my idea make sense? I think a lot of folks are confused about business ideas versus startup ideas. Like a business is just anything that is profitable, makes you money. A startup is completely different, right? We are looking for that exponential growth. This is something that, investors will talk a lot about.
Thank you so much for that. It's so refreshing. So many people are not able to make that distinction. So let's double click. Just because you have a business that's making money, it's not necessarily a startup. It could be
Exactly.
a business. It could
Yes.
be a mom and pop, you know, SMB, and there's nothing wrong with that.
No, there's nothing wrong with that. And in fact, for a lot of people, that is the most fulfilling way to use their time.
Yeah.
But if you want to build a startup, then there is a very specific requirement in that it has the potential to become like a billion, 10 billion, $100 billion business.
And does this always, I think it does, but curious what you think, does this always then involve technology, or can you build infinitely scalable businesses without technology?
So I think what we've found over the last 20 years is that technology is really the way that enables you to scale your business
Mm.
to incredible scale and margins, right?
So it has to be tech
I don't
enabled.
know that it has to be tech-enabled, but that's certainly the most convincing
Yeah.
path
I I'm
forward.
I would go out and say yes, it has to be. It has to be.
Yeah. Of course, this is YC's bread and butter, right?
And this is that's why, for example, you don't get NYC if you don't have a technical co-founder.
Exactly. Yes.
You need, and if you're not a tech project, you don't get into YC either. So that's super interesting. I want
Well, I
to.
think that's not completely true. I
Ah,
think now we do also fund a lot of hardware companies. They
yeah.
fund a lot of biotech companies. I guess inherently biotech and hardware tech also are kind of tech companies. But
That's where exactly where I was going. So in the very recent batch, we're recording this just after the summer 25 batch, but we could probably have this discussion for every batch. But this very specific batch, there are two examples that come to mind that at first look don't really look like your typical YC company. Everyone is thinking like AI or dev tool. And that's the typical like
yeah.
two 19-year-olds. I'm sure you've seen thousands of them at YC, but there are others. So I want to mention two, and both of them actually did really well at demo day with investor interest. I want to mention Knox Metals, who's just literally building metal parts for anyone in the industry. If you want to build on AI, if you want to build chips, if you want to build a data center, anything, you need some metal parts for your computers, for your drones, for your weapons, for your planes, etc. And they're just doing that. And so on the first look, you'd be like, well, that's not a tech-enabled thing. That's not scalable. And the other one is Real Roots, which is helping women who move make new friends. On average, women move every 7 years in the US. So when you come in a new
Hmm.
city, you're pretty much
Oh,
alone.
interesting.
And of course you can go on apps like Bumble Friendship or whatever, but it's not that
Yeah.
great.
Bumble BFF.
Exactly. But Real Roots really has a process that works and that actually guarantees you friendships. That's how good it
You know
works.
what's interesting about that one is this type of consumer social idea, YC has not really been interested for a long time. There are a lot of ideas like that or like Uber lookalikes, which I think over time have become less interesting
Mm,
to, venture and investors because they've kind of all been done before.
yeah,
One thing that YC cares a lot about is this question of why now?
yeah.
So if you're interested in building what we call like a what's the word for it? Tar pit idea. So like
Tarpit.
find friends and find things to do in the city. Oftentimes the question is like, if this is a good idea, why hasn't it done before? And so it's what's interesting is that now with the rise of AI and the LLM boom,
It
there are a
unlocks.
lot of new reasons for why now for a lot of these different ideas. Coming back to your question about why did I choose to leave YC and pursue a voice idea or voice AI idea, what's interesting is when I left YC at the end of 2024. Oh, sorry.
2023, right?
I left YC at the very end of 2023,
Yeah.
and voice AI had not taken off yet.
Yeah.
At this point in time, LLMs had taken off. So there are a lot of people interested in like chatbots. How do we use LLMs to automate like back offices and things like that? But voice wasn't very big yet
Yeah.
at this time.
You're a visionary.
I wouldn't say that.
Yes, we can say that. Make it official. You're a visionary. No,
Yeah.
did you?
But
Sorry.
I
Yeah.
knew even at that time that AI really was going to be like revolutionary, transformational. I think when LLMs first came out, like ChatGPT 3.5, and then later ChatGPT 4 came out, people were still wondering like, oh, is AI going to be, the next Web 2.0? Is it going to be as big as mobile, etc.? Is this a fad like crypto,
Yeah.
right? And I think what's interesting is YC could tell very early on, this is not a fad.
Mhm.
It's also just a platform that will underlie almost every business
Wow.
out there.
Yeah.
This is not like, oh, my business is AI or not. It's more just like in a few years, maybe a decade's time, every business will just have AI by default. And it's more a question of how you use it. It's not like, do we have AI or not? That's not a question. I think if you don't have AI, company's dead.
Yeah. It's super interesting. So being in YC, I believe this as well, that YC is very good at spotting trends. And being an insider, everyone at YC realized probably before everyone else that AI was not like crypto, because everyone was wondering in
There's this
23.
crazy energy. And on top of that, a lot of people don't know this, but Sam Altman's OpenAI was originally a project inside YC.
Yeah.
So YC was pretty early to the LLM game, or the AI game, I suppose.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think working at YC for 4 years, what's interesting is I wasn't initially really excited to do a startup. I was curious about startups. That's why I went to work at YC.
Of course.
And throughout the 4 years I worked there, I worked with the partners, Jared, Michael, Gary, amazing people. And I saw a lot of the alums come back and give talks. One thing that's really cool about YC is every batch they bring back Tony Xu from DoorDash and, the Collisons from Stripe and
Brian
Airbnb.
Chesky
Exactly,
comes
Brian
out.
from Airbnb. They all come back and talk about the early days. And it's super inspiring because you can really start to see a vision. You see a path from we had nothing to now we're like $1 billion company, right?
100 billion
it's
for Airbnb.
100 billion.
Yeah.
And so I think it's incredibly inspiring to hear all these stories. And when you've been at YC long enough, there's no way you can avoid the startup bug.
You have the itch.
You have the itch. There's no way to avoid it.
Does everyone at YC have it then? Because you can't help but getting it.
I think probably yes. I think
So
everyone
YC
at
is
YC
doomed to have their employees just
YC
leave.
is doomed. Yes,
It's crazy.
but they understand this, and that's just part of the DNA of YC.
Yeah, and that's
is
the case
incredible.
for some group partners as well. Michael recently left.
Exactly.
Dalton recently left with Paul Buchheit. They're all going out and doing their own ventures.
Exactly.
That's
Yes, this
crazy.
is YC is doomed for this, and they're prepared for it. I think if you look at the software team at YC, nobody has ever left to join like Google or some other big startup or big tech company. The only reason people have ever left the YC software team is to start their own company. And of course, they go through YC because we're part of the family.
Yeah, that's really cool. That's awesome. So inspiring. So, going back to sort of this visionary, I remember many people at YC, group partners, Gary's story about investing in Coinbase, for example. Very early on, Ethereum, so Bitcoin came out in 2008, and Ethereum, I think, came out in 2015, probably. And I was quite early with Ethereum in 2015 because I was at the time living in Shanghai, in China.
Very
and
cool.
it was a big hub for a lot of international, and that's where I heard about it. I think in a WeWork, and people were like, oh, this new crypto. But then
And yet, Coinbase was founded in 2012.
exactly. And so that's exactly my point. YC was even earlier than that. Like, I always thought I was sort of early.
Yeah.
I was not that early. And just, being early in crypto doesn't really
I mean,
matter.
you were early. This crazy thing happened where my freshman year at MIT, which was in 2014, they did this project where they gave everybody $100 of Bitcoin, which at the time was 0.3 Bitcoins,
Wow.
which was incredible.
Yeah. Just
if I
gave
had
it out.
kept it.
Yeah.
But I immediately sold it off to a friend who was using it to play crypto poker or something like that.
Yeah.
I was like, $100? Yeah, I'll take it.
Yeah.
Bad, huge mistake.
Today it's like 30 grand or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it is so many
moment,
stories. So many
yeah.
stories like this. But just to say, like, the financial reward for buying Bitcoin, if you're working at YC when Coinbase gets founded in 2012, you might say to yourself, oh, I'll buy $100, $500 of Bitcoin because, this new thing, crypto. Okay, sure, why not?
It could be a thing.
And this $100 of Bitcoin in 2012 could be probably hundreds of thousands of dollars today.
Yeah,
And
if not
so the
more.
rewards of being super early here are so obvious with crypto because you just buy it
Yes.
and wait.
Right.
But I see sort of the same trend with AI, which is YC very early on is what you said. And I've seen this from the outside, maybe for sure after you, but even being a close watcher of YC, I saw this YC very early when full speed into AI, probably when many investors were still hesitating. figuring it out.
Yes.
To tell you the truth, I
Yeah.
was hesitant at the beginning because we
Yeah.
just went from the crypto and NFT crash. So we
Exactly.
were
I
asking
think
ourselves,
investors were burned by the recent fads and
yeah.
following the trend.
And everyone was asking, is this a trend or not? And then I saw YC going all in. I thought, okay, I'm going all in as well. But just to say, I think there's asymmetric upside and rewards to
Absolutely.
be early on the newest technology. We see it with Bitcoin. We see it now with AI that if you've, some people still today are not investing in AI, which is kind of crazy. But if you're sort of early to dig into it, to understand it, you probably understand it better. And so I think you get this nowhere better than Silicon Valley and YC because that's what they're sort of obsessed about. That's their, if you think about it, YC is only sort of trying to always be on the frontier, always trying to get the newest technologies, innovations, new things. So anyway, amazing place for you to be at. Let's also double click on that. So what's your reasoning to say LLMs are here, it's chatbots, it's not voice, but I'm going to go out and create a voice company. How did you make the, the link here?
I'll be honest with you. At the time, I wasn't 100% sure what Simple was going to be. But my co-founder, Zach, who I met at YC as well, he was running a different software team at YC. We knew that AI was going to be revolutionary.
Yeah.
And what I really wanted to do was build in consumer. My background is very much in consumer. I think I have like a soft spot for it. At YC, I built all these products for founders who are really behave like consumers, right? And before that, I spent a lot of time at Meta working on Facebook newsfeed and Instagram stories, both very heavy consumer products.
Very cool, by the way.
Yeah, and even before that, I interned at Quizlet and Quora, both very consumer companies. So I was kind of trained for like, I know how to build consumer. I know how to talk to my customers. I know how to iterate quickly on feedback, etc. So I was thinking all of these companies are using AI to automate back office, whatever, accounting and legal and all these things, but no one's really serving the consumer market. We have ChatGPT, but it doesn't actually do anything for you. So our initial idea for Simple was that it was going to be a personal assistant for consumers.
Yeah.
It's going to call your Ubers. It's going to check your email. It's going to do your calendar. And
book a restaurant for you, if I remember correctly.
Exactly. Book a restaurant for you. And one of the best ways to achieve these things is actually by making a phone call. Phone call is sort of this universal API to small businesses that don't have an API otherwise, right? Like if I wanted to get a restaurant booking somewhere that's not on OpenTable, how else are you going to do it besides call them? So it turns out using AI to make phone calls was the way we were able to serve a lot of these use cases. And as we kept working on that, we just learned, we had this like amazing like wow moment where a lot of our users would try the app, they would have it call themselves so they can hear a sample of how it feels, and they were just blown away. The kind of feedback we received was so incredible. Like the reception, people were so positive about it. A lot of people would just come inbound, like hordes of people were coming inbound to me saying, your voice is incredible. It sounds so real. I didn't even know it was not human.
It's amazing.
And then they would go and use this and like prank call their parents. Students would use it to like prank call their school, like their teachers. People would prank call their friends. And the thing I really...
So you started a pranking call app, basically.
Exactly, a prank call app. And that's obviously not what we set out to do. But the thing we learned from that experience was people think this is amazing.
Yeah.
They think they've never experienced voice AI before, and it's mind-blowing how good it is. So as we were working on this, we then started getting a lot of inbound from people who ran their own businesses or they worked at a larger company. And so they came inbound asking us, hey, I love your voice AI thing. Can I use it for my business? Zach and I did a little bit of soul searching. I was excited about consumer before. I had this misconception that B2B was going to be boring. Like, oh, I don't want to talk to people who, like middle management at some random big company. That's not my idea of fun. But once I started getting all these inbound from people who like really, really desperately needed the product,
it's pretty cool.
I think I had this light bulb like, oh shit, this is why people build B2B and enterprise, because the problem that you're solving is so much more acute. Like when you're solving a problem that matters to people, they care so much about it. They give you so much love. They give you so much feedback. They get mad at you if the product is down. Like this is what a startup is about. This is fun. So now we are very much on this track. We still have the consumer mobile app running. It's largely for free and it's being paid for by our business product.
Wow. But you kept both. First of all, are people still using it for prank calls, or are people actually using it like you intended?
No, people use it like how we intend.
Okay.
So I was kind of joking with the prank calls earlier, but people will do all sorts of things. They call restaurants to book reservations. You're calling your doctor. If you don't have a doctor yet, you're calling multiple doctors in your area to find out, do they take my insurance? Are they available next week? Stuff like that. One truly incredible use case I saw was one of our users was buying a car and they had it call multiple dealerships in the area
So easy.
to get them the best deal on that car. And then they sent me a selfie of them buying the car as proof,
So cool.
which is so cool. I thought this was really amazing because having an assistant call all these places at the same time and negotiate, now we're in the territory of not only is AI doing something that a rich person's assistant might do, it's actually better than a human assistant.
Yeah.
Like your assistant could not call 10 places at the same time.
It's and is she that good at negotiating? And it's
Exactly.
going to take her forever, and the AI does it in a couple minutes, and it's crazy.
Exactly.
That reminds me of David's Lee quote of AI is bringing tools only for reserved before for very, very rich people, like having an just having an assistant in the first place to make calls for you.
Yeah.
And so we'll go back to the B2C and B2B because I'm very interested in that. But how does it work? Do you have to specifically prompt it, call 5, 10 car dealerships and negotiate the price? Or do you say, hey, I want to buy a car. Can you help? How specific do you have to be? How does it work? And give me other, please, if you don't mind, other examples because I think it's going to inspire a lot of people. I want to start doing this right now. Like find me the best place to organize a party, call 10 restaurants, negotiate the prices, the thing, the blah, blah, blah.
Exactly.
How do we use it?
So you can give it any granularity of detail you want. I will say the more specific you can be with your instructions, the better your results are going to be. Other examples of things people have tried, there was this woman on TikTok who posted a story about how she used Simple to call Priceline. It waited on hold for 50 minutes for her. And then it got a refund on an air flight ticket for her, which is amazing.
Automated.
Yeah, exactly. So that's that's
Crazy.
real value to a person.
Oh my God, the dream. And so you talk to it as well? You prompt it with your voice?
You can prompt it with your voice or by texting, whatever you prefer.
And does it do like ChatGPT where if it's not sure, it's going to ask you follow-up questions?
It will ask you follow-up questions. So if you try to get, for example, if you try to book a doctor's appointment, it's going to then follow up and ask you, what's your insurance? Do you have XYZ type of insurance, stuff like that. If you're trying to book for next week, it'll also ask you, okay, great, you're looking for Tuesday morning. If they don't have Tuesday morning, what's like the next best option?
Perfect. Okay. So, I mean, I think hopefully I'm very excited. A lot of people will start. So what's the URL to just It's on the App Store and it's called Simple AI.
It's on the App Store, just called Simple AI. You can also find it on our website, usesimple.ai.
Yeah,
That's
I
our
remember
website.
that. Usesimple.ai. Okay.
The really incredible thing about consumer is also when you build something valuable, it just goes wild without you doing anything about it. We have done zero marketing.
Make something people want.
No money on marketing, no money on ads or anything like that. But you know who recently called out Simple AI on Variety?
What?
Reese Witherspoon.
Really?
Yes.
She's using it.
Reese Witherspoon did an article on Variety about her top 3 favorite AI apps, and she mentioned Simple.
And you didn't even know
I didn't even know she was a user.
That's so cool.
Which is amazing.
It's crazy. Congrats.
Thank you so much.
That's insane.
Yes.
And did she say what she uses it for?
She didn't specify the exact use cases, but she said that it will wait on hold for you and like book appointments and you don't have to worry about any of that.
It's so cool. Oh my God. And then, so did you get a huge influx of free users? Could people?
Definitely, yes.
Insane.
Yes.
Insane.
So
Congrats.
Thank you so much.
So cool.
So I think what's interesting is we can, maintain this mobile app that is incredibly useful to consumers without having to charge them for it because we also have this like very profitable business product that is solving huge problems for big companies.
Let's go there. Start at the beginning. What do businesses use it for? Let's start there.
Yes. So we use AI to automate phone calls for sales, for support, logistics, leads qualification, mostly inbound, but we do both inbound and outbound.
So you just, I was going to say almost a phone receptionist, but it's not. It's much more than that.
Receptionist. Yeah. It's for companies that have call centers of multiple hundreds of agents working in the call center for support and for sales. I would say our favorite use case is actually inbound sales. There's still a lot of big, old, like American heartland type companies that take lots of inbound sales. So, for example, one of our customers is this company called Omaha Steaks. They're a century-old American's original butcher sort of business.
Wow.
And people call in to say like, hey, I saw a flyer for this package. I want to buy like one for my mom and one for my brother and one for myself. So our AI will collect all your information, like your customer information, your shipping addresses. If you're shipping to multiple, of course, like multiple addresses, multiple cart items. And then the key part is businesses like Omaha Steaks depend a lot on heavy upselling. So at the end of this conversation, our AI will then say, okay, great. Today we have this manager special, which is 30% off. For $20 more, you can get everything plus free shipping, plus like 8 caramel apple tartlets.
Ooh, sounds yummy.
This is a very big part of their business.
And
And then
that's
after that, we're going to ask, okay, great. And also, if you sign up for a subscription, it's going to be 10% off today, but you'll get 2 or 3 more shipments for the rest of the year.
it's so cool. And I've seen the AI use cases in upselling. It's almost always better than humans
It's so much
because
better
it
than
never
humans.
forgets. It's
No,
never uncomfortable about asking.
exactly.
And it's persistent. Like a human might be discouraged if they hear 3, 4, 5 no's. Well, okay, maybe today. But the AI will always, always, always get there. And it's
Yeah.
doing it in a better way, like more polite. And
It's extremely polite. It's very friendly to talk to. And I think you're really hitting the nail on the head. The reason why this is such a huge pain point for customers like Omaha Steaks is that, so throughout the year, they have some number, I don't know if I can say, they have some number of agents working in the call center, right? In October, they 10x their workforce because a lot of their business is so seasonal.
wow,
They do a lot of like Thanksgiving,
just October.
Christmas. In October,
year.
they're hiring for November. So they hire all these people, 10x their normal workforce, November, December, and then they're just temp workers. They don't need them in January.
Ah.
But you know what that means? That means they need to hire all these people. They need to train them. If they're bad, they need to like work on helping them get better. Then they have to fire them if they're truly bad. A lot of these temp workers, they don't show up to their shift or they don't show up to training.
Horrible.
It's just a huge, massive headache
Yeah.
for the call center director and the operations folks, right? So
Now
all these
they make
people
it
are,
simple.
yeah, and they don't know how to use the software. So they actually drop sales. Like people come in with the high intent. They're already trying to buy steak. And yet your temp workers are like, oh, let me figure out how to actually place the order.
Sorry, I don't have time.
I
Boom.
don't, yeah, like exactly. You're dropping calls from people who have this really, really high intent to buy
Yeah.
because you don't know how to use the software. And then these folks, like you said, like don't follow the instructions. They don't do the upsell correctly. Whether it is like they forgot or they feel uncomfortable doing it, whatever the reason is, they're losing so much revenue in this period of time where they could be making way more. And so the wonderful thing about AI is that it scales dynamically.
Mm.
You need more agents? We have more agents. Yeah, easy. You need them to upsell this way? We'll do it like that every single time.
So good.
And I think the really awesome thing and the power of software is that not only do we follow the instructions perfectly, we actually do a better job
Yeah.
of upselling because in one instant, our AI can know everything about your customer and their history. So, for example, we actually had a call the other day where this woman didn't know she was talking to AI. She thought she was talking to a human. She told us her whole life story. So she was buying the steak package and we tried to upsell her this like chicken item. That's just part of protocol. And so she gave us the story about how, oh, my husband worked on a farm when he was a kid and he had to kill chickens. So we never eat chicken anymore. Great. We'll never sell you chicken ever again. That's something that AI and software can do that your human reps will never be able to do.
I mean, it's so fascinating to hear you tell all of the stories. To tell you the truth, what I was thinking, listening to you, is us humans are in trouble. Like, it doesn't even make sense to hire humans anymore. It's so scary how much, because I was trying to picture the nightmare of the call center manager trying to bring 10, 20, 30 temps,
It's a nightmare.
hire them, train them, and they don't show up. Like you
and
said,
then they don't show up.
Oh,
And then they're bad. They do a bad job.
And
So
then
you
you
have
just
this
have
like
AI.
huge QA team that is also reviewing all of their work and giving them feedback. And if they're truly bad, you have to fire them.
yeah,
It's a
crazy.
huge pain.
So AI is in the house. That's it. We're
Yeah.
not hiring humans anymore. Okay.
Not only that,
Yeah.
but I think what I love about the sales use case is we now have a whole suite of products that helps you sell and upsell better.
Hmm.
It has infinite knowledge about all of your products and SKUs. So somebody who's calling in and not sure exactly about what to buy, it can give them recommendations. It's endlessly patient, will answer all of your
Mm.
questions. And then we allow your marketing team to come in and basically experiment with everything. You can test, you can want to A/B test like the items you sell, you want to A/B test the language you use to upsell those items. It can happen in an instant. You don't have to train all of your agents to like, oh, half of you are going to use this language today and the other half are you're going to sell this other set of items. It's a nightmare.
Yeah.
But with AI, you can do it instantly. And you can even test things you've never tested before. You can do things like, oh, this customer is calling from Alabama. Let's give them a Southern accent.
Mm.
Or this person usually responds better to like a male or female voice.
Yeah.
This is all stuff you can test.
Yeah, it's so cool. And then, of course, there's this whole sort of training thing as well, where when you have an army of 100 salespeople and, oh, you change your price or you have a new product, you've got to
Exactly.
communicate it to them and they make mistakes. Oh, it used to be 39, now it's 29. Sorry. You just, make a change in the system and the AI knows
Exactly.
everything right away. So cool. I want to ask you on sort of the dual business, because that's so, and I'm talking so B2B, like what we talked about right now, and it's really exciting, and you're very excited about it. I can tell, and that's exciting to me. Like, oh, your
Yeah.
business is exciting to you. Um, but then we also talked about the B2C free version, and you were excited about it as well. I was very excited about how maybe I can use it to book appointments and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Um, it goes against, I think you're going to tell me,
It does.
against the typical, the typical advice of do one thing, NYC's advice as well. You should do one company. And so right now you have two
Yes.
products and one is free. You chose to make it free, paid by the other. You maybe could charge for the B2C product, I guess, if
Mhm.
it really, because it really does provide value, you
We
could
do
probably
have a
charge.
freemium
Yeah.
version.
Oh, okay.
So there's a premium tier of the consumer product, but I don't think of the consumer app as something that is bringing us revenue.
So why do you still choose to maintain it? Is it just sort of a freebie on the side, but you spend zero time on, or do you still sort of see your company as going into two directions? And how do you think about that? Because again, it goes against the usual advice.
It's a great question.
Yeah.
It absolutely goes against the usual
Mm.
advice, and I completely admit that it might be a mistake. But for us, I think there is this really, really unique synergy in our space where I think nobody is really serving the consumer.
Mm.
There is a strong need for it, but all of the existing incumbent consumer companies like your Apple or even OpenAI are not really delivering the thing that will provide the most value
Yeah, for now,
for
for
the
sure.
users.
Yeah.
So on our side, it both delivers some goodwill and, fulfills my dream on the side of doing this consumer play. But in a weird way, it's also actually secretly really great marketing for our business product
Yeah.
because people try the consumer product and they're just amazed by the results. They're like, wow, it was able to get this refund for me. Wow, it talked to my friend and they didn't even know it was AI. Wow, it helped me negotiate this car. And when people are amazed by this technology, they go back, they tell all their friends about it, and then one of their friends tries it and they imagine it like, wow, we should be using this for our call center.
Yeah.
So there's this secret synergy between the consumer product and our business.
It's almost a customer acquisition engine,
Exactly.
and it works. People actually reach out to you and say, "Hey, I have a B2B use case." I don't know if your website says it or something, but
It does,
yeah.
yeah.
And
Our
so,
website's tailored mostly to the business
yeah,
product.
so they can sort of figure out, oh, it's good for me. I can, okay, secret B2B,
Exactly.
secret customer
And it's
acquisition.
this like secret marketing technique that none of our competitors have because they started in B2B. They never went the consumer route. So I think of it actually as a blessing that we started in consumer, tried this app thing, and now it's like a secret weapon for our B2B business.
So cool. Um, why do you think still today voice AI, most of it, and I'm asking because in the recent batch, there's been two companies, you've probably seen them because it's in your space, really going after consumer with voice AI, but 99.9% has been geared towards B2B,
Mhm.
including your story. it's interesting where you started in B2C, but it really pulled you towards B2B.
Yeah.
I guess the use cases are probably bigger and there's more demand, but I also think there's a lot of potential use cases for B2C. Why do you think, I don't know if I should say no one has cracked it or it hasn't taken hold? Why do you think that is, that it's 99% B2B today?
I think it's because the B2B use cases are so poignant
Mm.
and the pain is so acute and immediate.
Hair on fire problem.
It's a hair on fire problem for
Mhm.
these. Yeah, I think on the B2C side, it will quickly follow, but B2C is largely about imagining what would make life better. I think consumers are not really good at identifying what their problems are
Mm.
because the scale is so different.
Yeah.
Like for a given person, for me to want to hire someone to book my restaurant reservation, like I wouldn't even think of that.
Yeah, I agree.
But you're running a business and it's massively inefficient where you have to hire like thousands of people every October. That's a very like hair on fire problem.
Big problem. What do you think is the killer feature for B2C? For voice AI?
I think it's going to be the time to wow.
Mm.
So, however, you're going to build your product, you need to make sure that the time between when someone is interested in your app and downloads it to the time when they go, holy shit, this is
Mind blown.
amazing.
Yeah.
That time needs to be as short as possible.
Do you try to optimize for that?
We do. That's actually why we add like a test call in the beginning. So part of your onboarding experience is you give us your number and we'll call you. So you can know what the experience is of calling somebody else. And usually that is the moment when they go like, wow,
When I tried
this
the
was super
product,
real.
when I tried Simple, it was not there, the test call. So now I'm excited. I want to do it now. Should we do it on the, when we finish, maybe I'll call it. And if it's
Yeah,
good,
of
we'll call it.
course.
Okay. Still picking your brain, because I mean, you're super knowledgeable about the space and I'm having a great time. So thank you for that. Have you thought of specializing in B2B? Because it seems
Mhm.
you're a pretty broad
Yeah.
in terms of target, which isn't great because your market size is just the
It's
biggest.
a huge
The
market. It's a
biggest.
massive opportunity.
Have
Um,
you thought of narrowing down, or are you specifically trying to stay broad?
Yes. I think the end vision is to take over any calls where the voice quality being really good and the agent behaving really well is important.
Which
So,
is almost every call.
yeah, which is a lot of calls. I agree.
Yeah.
But it's a very big distinction from the other end of the spectrum, which is trying to be as cost saving as possible.
Mm.
We actually have a lot of places where we spend more money
Mm.
than our competitors do because we care about the quality
Or-
more than we care about cost cutting. And so in that
there's a market
direction,
for both, probably. Yeah.
there's market for both.
Yeah.
Yes. We just feel that we are more excited to
Mm.
build the best possible, like the best in class voice product. And so right now we're focused mostly on direct to consumer retail companies because for them, the use case does require a lot of, like being personable, being able to upsell items, taking on very important conversations with your customer that leads to very direct results.
Mm.
We're not just handling support. We're not like, oh, yeah, you want to return this item? Sure. Or like, yeah, your shipping is expected on next week. No, we're actually covering the pre-sales and sales
Yeah,
cycle of a
that's a
customer journey, which is
critical.
extremely
Yeah,
important,
yeah, yeah,
right?
exactly.
And so we're really excited about taking inbound calls because it requires like a high fidelity, like high quality voice. And it also requires this other suite of products I mentioned before where we know everything about your customer so we can do a better job.
Mm.
We also have all these like experimentation features that
Sure.
allow your marketing team to get involved with like, oh, how do we sell this and this? Like anybody who is related to the sales function at these companies cares a lot about this product. And that's where we want to be.
Do you think in the future, instead of calling and ordering steak, people ask the B2C version of Simple to call for them?
Absolutely.
And on the other end, it's the B2B.
100%.
It's going to
We
be.
joke internally all the time that's going to be simple and simple.
Yeah. And you don't need to. There's been some viral videos online where two AIs talk and
Yeah.
realize they're AIs and then they switch to binary or whatever because they don't need to
Yeah.
actually speak. You think that's going to happen? Do you know can you detect when
I
that
think
happens?
that demo is probably doctored.
Yeah, it is for sure.
Most voice agents are not trained to change how they communicate that way.
Or to recognize other AIs, actually.
Yeah, or even recognize other AIs.
But can you know, like, once two of your endpoints talk together, do you have an alert? Do you have a way to
We
know?
don't have an alert for
Yeah.
that. I'm sure there's a way to find out.
It would be crazy. You have
Yeah.
to figure this out. When it does happen, you come back. It's like AGI. We do that. Yeah.
Exactly.
It's crazy.
I mean, there definitely is a world where that happens.
Yeah.
I think one maybe surprising take I have, or maybe like a hot take I have, is I don't believe that in the future it's all AI talking to AI.
Mm.
I think the reason why consumers don't want to call the big businesses is because experience sucks.
Yeah.
They have to wait on hold for an hour, maybe 2 hours, and then they get transferred from one person to another. This is a very typical experience when you're calling your bank or an airline. They tell you, okay, great, let me get your name, your what's your like reference number, your booking number. Okay, great. Let me find someone else who can help
Yeah.
you. Like, okay, now
Why
I'm
did
like,
you
now
ask
I
me?
wait 15 more minutes on hold, and then they send me to a different person who again is like, can I have your name? And I'm like, I already gave you my name. So
Everyone has felt this. Everyone.
exactly.
Yes.
And then finally they send you to someone offshore who doesn't speak good English. They don't know how to solve your problem. And you're just left wondering, like, why did I waste 4 hours of my time calling this business only to not have my problem solved? That's the real reason why people don't want to call them.
Yeah.
But if the experience were amazing, like
Yeah.
if you call an AI that was very comfortable to talk to, it was very patient and friendly and immediately solved your problem, you're not waiting on hold because it went straight to them.
It's a 2-minute phone call.
2-minute phone call
good.
and you're done. I think humans actually would prefer to call them because, and here's why, when you have to describe to your AI assistant what to do, you're effectively doing the same thing. You're
Yeah.
already communicating once what your problem is and what all the details are, and your assistant doesn't know what else to ask you. So if you're able to talk to the AI on the other side directly and tell them, here's my problem, I'm this customer, I want you to help me with this, and they're able to do it,
It's much better.
using voice to communicate is actually the most natural way for humans to communicate, like
It's
talk
super
about
interesting.
anything.
I agree. And if you ask your assistant to do it, it's prone to errors. It might misunderstand. It might not do the right thing. If the experience on the other side is good, you just do it yourself.
Exactly. So
And
my hot take is when AI becomes so good that people prefer talking to the AI over a human rep. I think right now we're not quite there yet. Usually when people know they're talking to an AI, some of the time they're just like, get me
uneasy.
to a human.
Yeah.
Human, rep, give me a representative. But I think people are slowly learning that the new age of voice AI is actually so much better than the old sort of like IVA tree. I think everyone has had this frustrating experience in the previous generation of AI voice where they're like, tell me about your problem. And then you say your thing. And then they're like, did you mean return? And then you're like, no, I just told you what I said. So I think people
That's
have this
horrible.
like scar.
V0.
Yeah, exactly. There's still some scars from the previous generation of voice AI. But I think
Today it's
that
good.
when voice AI becomes good enough that people have a great experience talking to it, the number of voice and phone call support and sales use cases is going to go up
Increase.
instead of
Yeah.
down
Wow.
because people are going to like talking to the
Yeah.
AI.
Yeah, today sometimes you don't call. You'd rather send an email. You can really lay out your problem because
Exactly.
you know it. You do it once and that's it, and you don't wait. You spend 5 minutes sending the email. But if you can call, oh, that's really cool. And then there's the problem of adoption. Every business needs to actually adopt it, but it's so painful for them. They will.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
it's good. It's interesting. Okay, last question. I wish we had 3 more hours, but I have to let you go at some point. But this one I wanted to ask you because when you started at the end of 23, like you said, voice was not really matured yet. You're a visionary. We've established that you are and you were. But now we're in 2025. Now it's a very very
It's
crowded,
a hot space.
super hot
Yes.
space. So my questions to you are: what advantage did you get from being that early? Because you were one of the, I was going to say one of the first, maybe one of, not the first, but super early.
Hmm.
But also, maybe more importantly, for an investor like me, do you think it's a winner takes all or winner takes most market? Or do you think there's room? Because there's so many different use cases and so much need. It's like almost, like we said, an very, very big TAM or market. Do you think there's hundreds or thousands of companies that become billion-dollar companies in voice? Or is it a winner takes all, winner takes most?
I think the opportunity is massive and growing.
Yeah.
If we look at the call center companies of today, so what we call like CCaaS, call center as a service sort of thing, like their Five9 or Genesis, there are multiple really, really big winners here. And I think the opportunity we're looking at now is even bigger than that one.
For sure.
So as much as I want to tell you that we're super ambitious, right? Like we want to take all the voice calls out there. But I think in reality, there are going to be multiple winners in the space. And that's why it's smart to choose a specific niche to work in,
Hmm.
a specific niche where you can describe like what is better about your company. And I think in very competitive landscapes like this, I actually think that it's wrong to spend a lot of money on like marketing and hiring like a huge sales team. I think there's different games you can play. And if you have a massive amount of money, sure, like maybe your strategy is to sort of like try and land grab
Yeah.
everything and just like hire a huge sales team and like hire the best marketing and try to get the word out there. I think that is a short-term great play,
Hmm.
but I think that in a very competitive landscape, the long-term strategy is actually to continue keeping up with the technology,
Hmm.
build the best-in-class product.
Hmm.
Because there's so many options, sophisticated buyers now don't just choose one. They actually want to see multiple vendors, right?
Yeah.
They want to look at multiple products. And so the more you can be actually like positioned as the best product and not necessarily the biggest team, I think the better you'll do.
Hmm. And that's what you're doing. You're going for high quality
High
calls
quality
and results.
calls and results. Yes.
Well, we wish you all the best. Not that you need it. You're already doing
Thank you
extremely,
so
extremely
much.
well. Thank you for joining me on the show. I had a great, great time.
Thank you so much for having me.
That was awesome. Thank you. To our listeners, if you're still here, and I hope you are, otherwise you missed out. Thanks you for watching. Consider subscribing to the channel if it's not yet done. Please, every week I bring you an amazing YC founder. If you're listening to this on the go, you can listen to us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you want. Consider leaving us a 5-star review on your favorite podcast platform. It really does help. Thank you in advance. And check out my other channel where I do solo videos on YC and the VC world. Just type in my name in the YouTube search bar, Gabriel Jarrison, and you can check me out there as well. Thank you so much, and see you next week.